Good evening and a very warm welcome on Smart Entrepreneurship Decoded on Transcontinental Times. Amazing how time has passed. We are nearly in our 40th episode. I never thought it would go along so for such a duration and over so many weeks. Every week we've had an interesting guest. Stories that need to be told. People who have worked or are working in all aspects of the entrepreneurial journey. Last week, we explored women entrepreneurship and a woman investor. And for those of us who observe them closely, it is remarkable how they, by default, work two shifts, one in the family and one at work all the time. In your entrepreneurial journey, whoever you meet till you become wildly successful, and that proportion is very small, you're always told about what you don't know. That's true, because as an entrepreneur, unlike an employee in a company where you join a corporate and you get trained after your 15 years of education, you get trained to do a job over 6 to 8 weeks, and then you are given the lowest paying job. And there, with similarly educated, similarly aged people from a similar social background, if you do marginally well, you get a promotion, a pay hike, and you get the right to sit in the canteen and criticize the strategy of the company and crib about your boss. Cut to the chase and become an entrepreneur, and suddenly you are everything from president to peon. You need to think of strategy and things and words you never thought were important. Suddenly, your employees are sitting in the canteen and bitching about you. And there are mentors and guides trying to tell you what to do. And almost everybody is telling you what you don't know. Now, here's a challenge. And this is what we are going to explore tonight with a very accomplished individual. And the question is, how do people learn? Think about it. If you have to constantly learn and teach yourself to be a lifelong learner, which is what I think makes a person successful, how do you learn? Do you learn by reading? Then you should have gone to what, an IIT and IIM. Do you learn in a classroom? Then again, you should have excelled. And I know even twins going to the same classroom with the same friends, same teacher, and same mentors and guides and same family, same society, turn out different. Do you learn by watching others do it? Then don't you think the other 10 players around Ronaldo and Messi should be able to learn how to play as well as them? Do you learn by doing it yourself? Then how come you make the same mistake all the time? How come Virendra Sehwag gets out of the same shot, or recently Kohli? The very definition of a mistake is something that you know is wrong and has happened before. Or do you learn by watching others make the same mistakes? But if you learn from watching others, how come your life is having the same issues as your parents? How come you've turned out almost alike? So learning is a very complex subject. Everybody learns in their own way. Most people don't know how they learn. Most people don't know why they learn. Most people talk about corporate jargon that failure teaches you. Yes, failure teaches you how to fail. Only success teaches you how to succeed. So I thought, since I'm not an authority on the subject, let's call somebody who's a learning facilitator. So tonight, it's my great pleasure to have Srividya Nagaraju, who's an international TEDx speaker, a learning facilitator, and we'll pick her brain to find out how people learn. Welcome, Srividya.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this show, Nalin.
Okay, so Srividya, what is a learning facilitator's job? What is it that you do that people seek you out for?
As at a young age, learning is different. You're being taught. Actually, you don't learn. Somebody teaches you what you're supposed to do, more than what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. As kids, we hear more of don'ts from our parents, or as parents, we use more of don'ts to the children. But as adults, at this phase, the learning has a different meaning. You don't like somebody teaching you, and you don't need also somebody teaching you. But learning is important. I only facilitate. That's why I'm not even a teacher, trainer. I only facilitate the learning. So what do? We need our experiences, as you were in the introduction. How do we learn? There are various methods of learning. You already kind of covered it. But if I have to sum it up, we learn from the experience, whether our own experience or someone else's experience. In both we learn. We learn in anything. So how we have to bring that experience. That's my role. I facilitate that experience, and the learning comes out. Who wants to learn what? It's not that I teach them, you should learn this, you should learn this. And why learning is important, when you were introducing, what came to my mind, which is what keeps me going in learning, is a great which I learned in my young age from my father, is Swadhyaya Pravachanavyam na Pramaditavyam. A Sanskrit Upanishad Vakya, which means Swadhyaya, self-learning, and teaching others. Both, we should never stop. It's so strong. It says you should never stop it. It's not even that you should keep doing. Never stop it. So that is what has kept me going. And you were saying, do you learn from books? Do we learn from methods? Yes. It is not about which is a right. What works for each individual. Customization, right?
That's true. Well said. Well said. But we'll come to the Vedic and the learning from the past scriptures, etc., in a moment. But before that, I just want to ask you something. Since you work with a lot of leaders, I do as well, and I particularly explored the topic of midlife crisis in one of my books. One thing I find in successful leaders is that their reference group, the people they go to for advice or to bounce ideas off, is very strong, and they tend to be lifelong learners. Versus, I won't call them average people, I'll say just other people in normal life who tend to be open to learning when only adversity strikes. Is that your experience as well? Okay, we seem to have momentarily lost Srividya. Moment she joins back, we will continue. But you will notice this very often. The point I was trying to make, that a lot of us, we actually open our mind to learning and listen to other people, be it our spouse, be it our children, be it our parents, be it our teachers, be it our colleagues, be it our boss, when adversity strikes. When things are not going well, when there is some issue or the other that is not going as per our plan or as per our liking. Whereas what I observe in successful leaders is that they are constantly learning, constantly trying to keep up, constantly trying to know what next, how they can improve, even when things are going well. That's one trait. The other very important trait that I have noticed in my experience is how good leaders take feedback. I'll give you an example. Most of the time, take your appraisal at your job or any other kind of feedback somebody's trying to give you. Moment people start by giving you that feedback, moment your boss or your colleague or your spouse or anybody starts giving you feedback, your first reaction is to start thinking of how I respond to this. You're not listening to the feedback, you're thinking about how I respond to the feedback. Great leaders that I have noticed are not only lifelong learners, but when you give feedback, they do one very important thing. They keep their mouths shut and ears open. They listen. They sleep over it, and any reaction, response, etc., is after they have thought it through. Srividya, welcome back. But what is your
Yes,
experience?
sorry for that interruption. I'm not sure what happened, but sorry for that.
No problem.
Extremely
The
sorry.
audience had the pleasure of hearing me ramble on rather than hear your insights. Go ahead. What is your experience of leaders when it comes to their learning?
I can't hear you clearly. Just give me a second, please. Sorry, just give me a
Sure.
second.
Okay. Now, Srividya is joining us from the IT capital of Bangalore, and a lot of people in Bangalore like to believe that it is the IT capital of the world. But look, they can't even get the internet right. And if you've ever been there and driven on the roads, you will also have many other things, including spinal injuries, etc. Roads in Bangalore are closest to the moon if you've ever watched it through a telescope. Welcome back, Srividya. Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
yes, I can hear you clearly.
So, your thoughts on how leaders continuously learn and the way they take feedback?
Um, there are multiple ways one can learn, as you already mentioned. As leaders, I think it's very important. One of the things probably I learned from a mentor of mine. The role of mentors in learning is so important. They'll tell you what you're supposed to learn and what you don't need to learn. Is that can I add learning as a goal? When I set my annual goals on different aspects of life, one thing I've learned to add learning as a goal itself. I have various learnings what I want to do this year, whether it's a skill or behavior or anything I want to learn. I think that's a big habit for a leader to adopt based on, whatever the feedback you've received or what you want to achieve, connected to your own ambitions, your goals. Add a learning goal which is supportive. And a lot of people think learning you should learn only in your own domain, whatever you're doing. But I think learning something totally different out of your domain space also gives you a lot more what do I say, holistic perspective, especially as a leader. I think leaders, I would always strongly say they should definitely learn something more, something beyond what their normal domain, your own domain space. That is definitely something. It has worked well for me personally, and thanks to my mentors.
So, to your mind today, if we take India and leave politics aside for a moment, because that is very divisive in today's society,
Right.
who would you consider as role model leaders that young people can follow?
Personally, I would again, being an Indian, I would say the great young leader for us is Swami Vivekananda, evergreen. There's completely every time I get so much inspired by every quote of him. Very simple quotes. I think that's amazing. A very simple, even he's covered everything aspect of self-love. He says if you don't spend time with your own self, you will you miss meeting an important person. From that to all aspects of leadership, for me is personally inspired. Another person I have personally been inspired to keep learning or as a leader is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, because I had the opportunity to personally meet and get inspired in person. So that's been another great journey for me.
That's very lucky of you. So, I'm going to now get into an area that you have spoken about in
Mhm.
your TED Talks and in other public forums, which is learning through ancient scriptures and learning
Right.
through, even you mentioned Swami Vivekananda, you mentioned Abdul Kalam, he also is no more. Why is it that we have to go back so far back in time to figure out the future and today? Why aren't there people today that can tell us what to do? Why do we have to go back 5,000 years to the Mahabharata?
Very interesting question, Nalin. I don't think we have to, there is nothing that we have to go back or we have to, the learning has to come from everywhere. We also definitely learn from today, right? But somebody who's tried it, tested, proven is there, why can't we refer that? So it's more that than you have to do this or you have to do that. It's important you learn all aspects. Some really really wisdom when it is already available. It's easy to refer and learn and implement rather than you trying to learn on your own, explore, saves your time, saves your energy, all that, right? So it's more
So,
that, and of course, that doesn't stop us learning from what's happening today. Definitely, both are equally important.
so let me be a little provocative and take it a step further.
Sure.
So these ancient texts are at a time when we are talking of horse carriages, bows, arrows, not the internet and not Industry 4.0.
Right.
Are is it because there is a halo effect of religion that people listen to this? Is it because There are success stories and people like to listen only to the successful people. Can you not learn from everywhere around you today? Do you have to open a 5,000-year-old text to learn what you need to do today?
I mean, partially, I said it's not that we have to. We can definitely learn from even today or back then. As I said, something which is easy, referred, proven, you would always refer, right? Why do we even still go back to our dictionaries which were created way back? Because it's there, you have something ready to refer. And why do people listen? One thing what I realized while I've been doing this, we all grow up with listening to stories, right, which is from our history. From each our country has our own history, and we grow up listening to those stories. So as at this phase, at the professional phase, if we can connect those stories and bring the learning to today's world, what I realized is people connect both at emotional level and intellectual level, which means learnings become holistic. You've grown up with some stories and you say, wow, same story, but I'm going to look at it totally differently now, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to connect back to today's frameworks, our leadership frameworks, our management or life frameworks. That's the advantage.
So do you think with the same intensity, we should also teach what not to learn from them?
Of course, why not? Both are equally important. That's what the stories are meant for. Any story, you have to learn both. What works well, what doesn't work well. There's nothing that you have to say, blindly follow it. It's only a story. You want to learn from it the way you want to learn it, right? What works for you.
Okay, let's get back to leadership and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is right now going through a golden run in India, right? Everybody
Right.
is an entrepreneur. It's socially acceptable. It's
Correct.
fashionable. We could argue about the shallowness of it all and all that, but let's just give it its moment in the sun. So
Mm-hmm.
many young people
Right.
are exploring entrepreneurship. By default, it means becoming the leader, even if you have two employees, becoming the leader in your workspace.
And
So
even
for
if you're
these
a
young people,
solopreneur like me, I am both. I'm a leader for myself, and as you said, we do everything.
true, absolutely, absolutely. So for these young entrepreneurs, even they're not even millennials, they're Gen Z and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
What are the kind of things you think, the skills that they really need in this modern world?
Um, there are multiple skills, but let's get into the basic. The confidence building in themselves. They have all the required knowledge or the skill, or if they don't have also, it doesn't take time for them to pick it up. But what I see is a confidence level. From I've worked with various age groups, from young school kids to the senior leaders. So I think confidence again it has a different format, a different phase of life. One of the challenge what I see is many people, we all want to impress everyone. See, we like to please everyone, professionally or personally. I think that comes from whatever our cultural upbringing for different reasons. But if we can get out of that and start expressing ourselves, we are not here to impress, but we are here to express ourselves. Many people, what I have, they have ideas, but they hesitate to go and express, or they need help. I think this is most important for young entrepreneurs, that when you need help, seeking help is a strength and not a weakness. So before going to other skills, the mindset of open mind to seek help and open mind to offer help. When you help someone else, you end up learning, and it will definitely help you back in some way or the other. You and I know it very well. So this expressing themselves openly, to seek help, offer help, or you have an idea, you have a question to ask, any platform or anywhere, this is the first primary mindset. And second skill is a little bit of discipline, because you have to drive your own self. So that's a second, some kind of discipline. Discipline doesn't mean that you have to get up at 5 o'clock or do this or that, but bring in some consistency in your own behavior, while you be agile and flexible. But some amount of discipline does help, and these are the basic mindset. And be open to receive from everywhere. You have no idea. And then of course networking comes for, it is the most important skill for anyone today, not only entrepreneur, even in corporate world. Or gone are those days, especially having gone go global. And why did you and I are together here? Thanks to our network than anything else, right? Whether it's social media or any form of network, is that's how we get connected. And till today, all my business has come only through my network. I haven't done a cold call.
True, true. One important word you mentioned there is consistency. As a leader, it is so important to be consistent so that people know what to expect, where your lines are, where your boundaries are, what your value system is, etc. So that's an important point you made there. I'm going to
Right.
go a step back into your own personal journey. You were
Mm-hmm.
in corporate life
Yes.
till, I would guess, when we spoke earlier, till about 8, 10 years ago.
Right.
What sparked within you to become a coach, a speaker, etc.? Because you probably were not this in corporate. You spent 10, 15 years in corporate life. That
16
tends to
years.
dull and dumb people down, doesn't make
Right.
them flourish or flower. So, what was that tipping point for you?
I've spent 16 years in the corporate world, my work life. To some extent, I would say it happened when I was in the financial operations, doing managerial roles, managing all the operations. Uh, all of a sudden, there was one need, because of a local training manager had some issues, so I had to pitch in temporarily for for some one small assignment, incidentally. And I did that, and that went well. Everyone liked, I enjoyed. So that took one journey where, for some time, I moved within the same organization, worked in learning and development team. On the other side, I have been working as a volunteer counselor in an organization, in an as a volunteer counselor. There in that organization, we used to go to schools to teach kids on adolescent management, or train police force on public perception and communication. I was volunteering on that, and I enjoyed. Everybody liked it. And then when I was doing my IAM management course, a lot of reflection happened, and I think various these experiences made me realize this is my passion, working with people. So I learn, I develop, I help people learn. That's what it kind of a realization. Due to, I mean, life gave me that realization. I didn't go in search of it, but life was very nice to me, I would say. And it gave me that experience, and I realized, and then I finally chose to uh, develop my skills, and which I continue to do, and chose this
So,
area.
you mentioned earlier that when you coach people and you teach, help people, you learn yourself, which is very true. One
Absolutely.
one best way to learn and remain up to date is to be a teacher, because you have to
Correct.
always have all the right knowledge, etc., and the right tools. So let's probe that for a moment. I saw that social media picture, a very inspiring picture of you training the policeman on
Right.
sensitivity, empathy, etc. I think those kind of topics. What did you learn about their life from that session?
I've been working with this police force for quite a few years. Here and there, they keep inviting me for various skills. Working with them, I think that made me think how their life, day to day life, is so challenging. When we see, we are only say, "Oh, police," all that. But when you sit with them and listen to their stories, we are so blessed. They stand on the road in the hot or the rain or the cold, doesn't matter. They're always, and I've seen people, they work through the night, morning, something happening, they get a call, they just have to get up and show up. They have no choice. Unlike many of us, they have no choice. So any program when I do, I think I feel that's one opportunity for me to express my gratitude to the service they are doing in my own little way. Interact with them, respect with them. Every time I say, you are doing such a thankless job, and because of you're all there, we are safe, or we are more peaceful to lead our own lives. So it's very interesting to know each profession when you work with. I mean, for me, I've worked with different industries. When you work with healthcare, you get different learnings. My God, we talk about, oh, I can't, I've seen some youngsters say, when I wear formals, I can't work. Why should we wear formals? Why should we do this? And these highest of the doctors come in their uniform, and everybody is same. In fact, one of the things, if you want to learn, I think one of us, just we have to go sit for 2 hours in an emergency ward. Just sit and observe what's happening. It will bring you back, and I think you will become more grateful for what we have. So these are the different ways we need to learn, not just in a formal learning environment, sit in a course and do an online course or read a book, all that we need to do. But in addition, I think spending time with different places and sit and observe, there's tremendous learning we get.
So one of the things that we notice nowadays because of social media, that often there are more mentors and guides than people seeking them now. Is over the years, have you noticed a change in the things that people seek help for today?
Right.
I am very old, right? From in my time, it was very different. The things people sought help for. Today, in my view, and I may be completely wrong, sometimes I feel the things that seek help for is very shallow. But I'm from a different generation, so I could be completely wrong. Has it changed every 2-3 years? Is the things people are seeking help for changing?
I think what I see now is, I think people have become more open to seek help. The taboo attached to this counseling, mentoring, coaching has definitely changed. Earlier thought, if I'm getting mentored, coach, or something is wrong with me, or if I'm getting counsel, I am not okay. Those taboos have been, the stigmas have been much reduced, I would say. People are definitely more open for seeking help, which is a very positive change. Whether they start for a shallow or go deeper, that could be a different thing, but at least I'm very glad people have started seeking help.
That's true. In fact, a few years ago, I saw a movie where Shah Rukh Khan was a life coach. He did
Right.
everything right, except that he shouldn't have said it's 3,000 rupees an hour, because that kind of pulled down a lot of rates. So he
Yeah,
should
people
have
have
charged.
become much more open. We see now people talk so openly. I mean, I've been also a counselor, which is a volunteer work. So we have a lot more people coming and approaching us on a personal front, and even on mentoring. I've been mentoring or coaching some of the very senior folks. So they've become open. They realize initially somebody needs to push them, say, no, it is important, go give it a try. But after that, after 1-2 session they spend with, better about the
Yeah.
coaching
So,
and mentoring,
so we're
how they
completely out of
learn.
time, but I really want to ask a question which is more personal for me uh,
Right.
than anything else, and get your view on that. When we coach people, of course, we are supposed to be professional. This. At the end of the day, we are human.
Right.
We keep coaching people and say remain professional, but you must have high EQ, you must have high empathy, blah blah blah, and then
Correct.
you tell people to do the exact opposite. So, as a coach, when you coach people, how much does it drain you emotionally, and how do you deal with that?
Very good question. This happens more as a counselor for us than as a coach. I think you
Mhm.
have to learn to unwind yourself. So your own lifestyle plays a big role here. Individually, our own lifestyles, when I say you or me or any one of us, our own lifestyle, how we practice to unwind what you're doing, and not carry this.
So, how
It
do
is a
you?
for me, I think thankfully I'm able to use a simple technique called parking lot.
Mhm.
Okay,
What's that?
whatever I'm doing right now, this, once I'm done, I will not carry it forward. So I have a parking lot, so I park it there. I said I don't need this now for the next wherever I'm going. Like your vehicle, you have to park it in a safe place, and because you come back and take it when you need it. You can't, just because you have a vehicle doesn't mean you can carry it all around, right? So parking lot is one of the simple techniques one can follow mentally, or sometimes initially you can create a folder or a small book called parking lot, and you just park it there and say, this I will open it when the next need comes, because I have to shift my gear to other aspect, other roles of my life. That's one simple technique I can share with the interest of time, but our own lifestyle makes a huge difference.
I will definitely take you up on that and try to see how I can apply that. Although I would argue my 10-story parking lot is quite full right now, but I would love to. It has been an absolute delight, Srividya, to meet you again and chat with you. For all our viewers, I have met Srividya way back in 1998-99 when we were working in the same company. And when my team unearthed her based on that picture of her training Bangalore policemen, when we reconnected, then we realized that 23, 24 years ago, we had worked together. Absolute delight to see your progress, to see you in this wonderful way of helping people. I have watched your TEDx videos. I watched the one in the US about Shakti. It was absolutely brilliant. I wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best. Thank you for
Thank you.
giving
It's a
us your time.
privilege to come back and reconnect, Nalin. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Srividya. All the best. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.